Jane Talbot, and welcome to the Big Renga Roundup. Every day for the next 25 days, I'll be bringing you the latest news from our collaborative poetry project. There are 13 poets who'll be working together to create a 25-verse linked poem. And the form we've chosen is the Renga form, which originated in 13th century Japan. And one of the challenges and joys of this form is that it has very strict rules. Now, you could say if you were a poet, it might be constraining to have rules. But what the rules are designed to do is help the poets to work together. Actually, it is more like a game. Actually, it is more like a game of chess where 13 players are playing, having to anticipate what's coming next and having to work with conditions, poetic conditions that have only just been created. So the poets have to be prepared to be responsive and prepared to work with what's given to them rather than work with what they'd like to have. So I'm not going to share all the rules at once because, to be honest, you'd have a meltdown. I had a meltdown learning them in the first place. So every day I'll share a little bit more until probably by the 8th or 9th day, you'll be an expert. So we are going to write 25 verses. There have been forms of this type created that have had over 1,000 verses. We're only writing 25, and the way Renga works is that those verses are divided into pages. On the first page, so we're on the first page today, there are 8 verses. On the second page, there are 14 verses. And on the third page, there should be another 8 verses, but because we've only got 25 verses, there will be 3. Today is Hokku Day. The Hokku is the very first verse of a Renga poem. Actually, it's where we get haiku from. So originally, haiku, that's a nature poem in a 5-7-5 syllable format. That would have been the very first verse in a Renga poem, and they realized it was so important that it could actually stand in its own right as a single form. So I have to create the hokku. That's my job today. And the rules for creating a hokku are that the hokku should describe the season, the real season, the current season we find ourselves in. So we are in winter. So my hokku has to be about winter. All the rules for Renga tell us really what kind of poem this is going to be. It's going to be a nature poem because most of the rules are around creating verses that describe autumn or that describe spring. There'll be a little bit of love in there too, but those are the core components. And once any of those things have been mentioned, there are rules which make us talk about those seasons for a little bit longer than we do for any other season. And so the overall feel of the poem will be a shift, a moving shift between seasons with a particular emphasis on autumn and spring. But I am starting in winter. I have to. I've got no choice. That's what the rules say. And I would follow basic haiku principles. So I must have a word that lets the other poets know and that lets you, the listener, know what season I'm actually in. So if I'm in winter, I could actually use the word winter. The seasonal words are called kigo words. Or I could use other words which might be associated with winter, like snow or frost or snowmen or Christmas trees. All of those we'd say, I know exactly what season we're in. So I have chosen a kigo word or a seasonal word. This is really simple. It's winter. And I have written my hokku about frost, but I haven't used the word frost. I've used an image, I've painted an image of frost, used the word winter, and then created a contrasting image. So the haiku or the hokku is all about contrasting images. Here we go. Prickly ghost blankets spread out of winter shadows. Butter melts on toast. So if I'm looking at frost and I'm seeing it come out of the winter shadows, and it's all prickly as you get up close, it's also like butter when it's on toast. So when it comes out of the shadows and the sun shines on it, it begins to melt. And I felt it immediately came up, that connection between spreading butter on toast, one image, and the frost spreading out from the shadows and also melting. Similar, but different. So that's verse 1 done. The second verse is always a 7/7. Leslie will be providing our poem for tomorrow, and I'll let you know about the rules that she had to work to tomorrow. That's us done for day 1. Thanks for watching.